How are you, David?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Are you impressed with the fact that the lady at OHAR is suing OHAR?
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Aloha, everyone.
Yeah.
The November meeting of the Kailua Neighborhood Board is called to order at 7:02. Mahalo, everyone, for joining us this evening.
They're out in the building.
The first order of business on any hybrid meeting is a roll call, so we know who is present both in person and remotely. Emily Andrade.
Here, yes.
Here. Bruce Andrews. Here. Jennifer Berra. Here. Ana Malia Kia. Online. Kellyanne Kobayashi. David Laea. Here. Jade Lau. Here. Lavani Lipton. Here. Max Markrich. Kate Ryder. Here. Kalama Souza. Here. Malaya Tomes.
Here, remotely.
Present remotely. Steve Trecker.
Here.
Here. Good to see you, Steve. Jeremy Trexton.
Present remote.
Present remotely. Evan Weber. Gary Weller. Here. John White.
Present, Chair.
Present remotely. Donna Wong. Yeah. Donna Wong online. Donna, you're muted. Okay, Donna remotely. And Anna Malia joined us at 7:03 or thereabouts. All right, well, we have a quorum. With 12 in person and 4 remotely. Now we'll move on to announcements. It's getting to be that time of year. The Lanikai Woes Day, the 58th annual Woes Day, will be on New Year's Day, January 1st, 2026, and include an 8 a.m. race, a 9 a.m. parade, live music and breakfast between 9 and 11 a.m. on New Year's Day in Lanikai. The Olamana Christmas Parade. The Olamana Parade will be held on Saturday, December 20th at 2 p.m. The route is totally within Olamana, and HPD officers will assist. Committee dates and times. For November, 3 committees will meet at new dates or times. The Transportation and Public Works Committee will meet on Thursday, November 13th at 7 p.m. The Parks and Recreation Committee will meet the same night, next Thursday, the 13th at 8 p.m. The Homelessness in Kailua Subcommittee will meet the following Thursday, third Thursday of the month, November 20th at 5:30. And the Public Safety, Public Health, Civil Defense Committee will meet on that same Thursday, November 20th at 7 p.m. Toys for Tots Toy Drive. Neighborhood Commission Office is assisting with the Marine Corps Toys for Tots program. And this evening, Melissa will be collecting any donated children's toys, new and unwrapped. If you brought them with you tonight, Melissa would love to take them back. And finally, our next meeting Thursday, December 4th. That'll be our, obviously our final meeting of the year, and it's been our Kailua Neighborhood Board tradition to have a social time starting at 6 p.m. An informal potluck, and there will be some loose coordination, but basically really encourage all members to come early, bring your spouses, bring friends, and let's just enjoy a little bit of social time as we enter the holiday season. So that'll be before our December 4th meeting between 6 and 6:50. Are there any other announcements tonight? All right, we'll move on to HPD, HFD, and ocean safety reports. We'll start with Honolulu Police Department. Yes, please use the microphone up here, Ben.
Good evening. I'm Lieutenant Villaflor with the Honolulu Police Department. I'm one of 3 lieutenants that covers this area. Here's the stats for October. For motor vehicle thefts, we had 1. On the previous month, we had 5. And then burglaries, we had 2 for October, and the previous month was 5. Thefts, there were 18 in October. The previous month was 25. UEMVs, that's unauthorized entry into a motor vehicle, we had 7 in October and 4 the previous month, and 0 robberies for October or the previous month. Is anybody on Zoom? No one's on Zoom?
I don't see Officer Atkins online.
Okay. That's the stats. You guys have any questions?
All right, well, down in all but one category. That's really good, especially for this season. Questions tonight for HPD?
I can introduce one of my sergeants and my officer.
Yes, please go ahead.
They actually work this particular area. Let them introduce themselves.
Good evening. My name is Sergeant Sherman Dowkin, Dowkin. I'm assigned to the Kailua and Waimanalo as a field sergeant, one of many field sergeants. I've been working in the Kailua and this side of the island since 1998, December. Been assigned as a supervisor out here in this area since 2002, March. I cover, like I said, Kailua and Waimanalo nightly when I work. You have any questions?
Well, thank you. 27 years of service here on the windward side. That's very impressive. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Yes.
Any questions for the sergeant? Well, we really do appreciate deeply your presence in Kailua, the service to the community, maintaining law and order, but providing support for individuals in need. And it requires a versatile role that requires special individuals, and we really appreciate the chance to meet you tonight. Thanks for coming.
Yes. Thank you.
Lieutenant, you have anyone else to introduce?
Introduce one of our officers that's directly control this area.
Okay.
Hello, good evening. Officer Andrew Moss. I've worked in the Kailua area for approximately 4.5 years, right here in central Kailua. If you guys have any questions, I'll take them. If not, thank you.
David Laia.
Just a quick question, but also, gentlemen, thank you for all you do in our community. It shows. People respect your roles, and we appreciate it. But my question is having to do with the ICE raids and the immigration efforts underway. Are you folks involved in any of that? Apprehensions or anything along that line?
No, we're not involved in that. That's a federal investigation. That's federal investigations. Where we would assist is if there's any perimeters or so, or they would have to. They don't have to, but they'll probably give us a courtesy call, and we would have to kind of like secure the area, perimeter stuff, but we wouldn't take part in any of those raids at all.
Yeah, there was certainly a big operation in Kauai this week. Levani Lipton.
Yes, thank you for all that you do for our community. I have a question on Kapa'akori Road. I've seen, it feels like more abandoned vehicles. Some of them have blown out windows. Sometimes I see people sitting in them. I don't know if there's any activity going on, but I'm just wondering, I mean, I know it's close to a school, and I'm just wondering, what is that situation? They seem to be parked there for some time.
Yeah, so I think the vehicles that you're referring to are from after the school to Kapalakori Place, kind of after the small airfield. Is that what you're referring to? Yeah, so there's a series of cars, yeah, before the dip, and then usually after the dip, there's nobody usually there. There's two sides to Kapalakori. There's the marsh side that we can enforce, and then there's the private side. If CPT, I think CPT is in on this meeting, and I know that they have more involvement with the private side and the ownership of that Malka side. But the Mackay side on the marsh side, I personally, I work 3 days a week over here, 4 days a week sometimes. I know all those individuals, and when we can, we'll cite them for human habitation of vehicle. If they're in the vehicle or outside the vehicle, then vehicle safety equipment tags can be issued, and there's lots of contacts made with those individuals on a weekly basis. So it's not to say that we can't do anything. I don't want to say that. But we can't trespass anybody without the owner of that land being there. So we can make, if we think that there's criminal activity alongside the road, then yeah, we might make contact with them. Not to say they couldn't be arrested, but actual on the property of the owner's land, we don't trespass or go onto his property to trespass people. I know that he does work jointly with community policing team, and usually they go out in force and trespass, large groups of people from that area.
Thank you. That was very helpful. I guess I'm just wondering, you don't want so many cars to accumulate that then it looks like a junkyard. So is there a certain point where abandoned vehicles, if no one claims them, then they have to be taken away, even if it's on private land or?
Alongside the road, there is a process for reporting abandoned vehicles. Anybody can go on the abandoned vehicle and report it. There's a website, can report an abandoned vehicle, or you can call us. There's a procedure. We mark the tires. If it isn't moved within a certain amount of time, then we can come back and tow the vehicle and put it into the logbook for it to be towed and taken away. Vehicles can be also towed for other various equipment violations, like your expired tax and safety, so on and so forth. So we do that. I'm understanding of your issue, though. I noticed the cars too.
All right, Mahalo. Any other questions tonight for HPD? All right, thank you very much. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Honolulu Fire Department.
Hello, good evening. My name is Captain Jason Mao. I am at the Kailua Fire Station over here. This month's statistics are 0 fires, 6 activated alarms, 91 medical emergencies, 1 motor vehicle collision with a pedestrian, 11 motor vehicle crashes or collisions, 5 mountain rescues, 0 ocean rescues, and 1 hazmat incident. And the safety tip for the month is a cooking safety. Food has a unique way of bringing family and friends together, especially during the holidays, and cooking can be a relaxing activity. However, it is important to be aware that cooking fires are the leading cause of home fires and home injuries. By following a few safety tips, you can prevent these dangerous situations. Stay alert while cooking. If you are sleepy or have consumed alcohol, avoid using the stove or stovetop. Always stay in the kitchen while cooking. Never leave the stove and heated appliances unattended. Use a timer to remind yourself to check on your food regularly. Keep combustibles items like oven mitts, wooden utensils, food packaging, and towels away from your stovetop. And keep children and pets at least 3 feet away from cooking areas. Any questions?
All right, thank you. Questions tonight for HFD? Any online questions? Any audience questions? Mahalo.
Thank you.
And finally, Honolulu Ocean Safety, Lieutenant Tristan Fabro.
Good evening. I'm Lieutenant Fabro, Honolulu Ocean Safety. Just want to present you guys with some stats for the month of October. In our district for Kailua, we cover from Lanikai Beach down to Castles. So attendance for the month of October was about 90,000 beach visitors, lifeguards in the towers and trucks. We did about 7,000 preventatives. We did 850 first aids. We made about 12,000 public contacts. We did 5 ocean rescues. That's in the towers at beach parks. As you guys know, we did 1 Codex search for a missing paddler that lasted about 3 days, and we worked alongside HFD, Coast Guard, and HPD. If you guys have any questions?
Questions tonight for Honolulu Ocean Safety? Kate Ryder.
Do you have any ocean safety tips for solo paddlers?
Yeah, out of personal experience, if you guys are gonna go paddling, I would say have a plan. When you guys are gonna go somewhere, let someone know before you go. Kind of have like a plan of where you're gonna go, where you should be at a certain amount of point of time, and wear high visibility clothes. Highlighter green, highlighter orange, anything that I don't want to be off the or say anything bad, but if you do go missing, it'll be easier for us to spot you in the ocean if something bad does happen.
All right. Any audience questions? Online? All right. Well, thank you very much for
Thank you.
joining us this evening. We'll move on to local agency reports, starting with the Board of Water Supply. Do we have Danny Renales?
Hi. I have the report for the Board of Water. So for the month of October, we had 2 water main breaks, one on Kailua Drive, another on Akaiki. They were both 8-inch ductile iron breaks, both installed in 1956. And then the message from the board this month: when water main breaks do occur or fire hydrants are hit, the Board of Water works quickly as possible to reduce the impact to customers, protect public safety, and restore water service. For any other updates on main breaks and general information, you can check on our boardofwatersupply.com/main breaks. They have all information on any main break that is 4 inches or larger. You can also stay informed on Facebook or Nextdoor, and you can also sign up for HNL alerts. Any questions?
All right. Any questions tonight for Board of Water Supply? Lavani Lipton.
This is Danny, right? Hi, Danny. I
Hi.
actually don't know if you can answer this, but it's near, I think, your water pump. So every now and then, someone actually asked me to ask this in the community. Every now and then, there's a big cesspool truck that I guess is collecting sewage near the water pump station, right as you enter Kailua. And so I'm just wondering, do you know anything about that? And is it anywhere near our water supply or waterway that you know of? I'm asking this for someone.
Yeah, that's like an ENV question. I've seen the trucks there. So I don't think we have any water tanks there, but that's an ENV question for Mr. Babcock.
Okay. Well, we have Roger Babcock in the audience, so I
There you
will
go.
ask him. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions for Board of Water Supply online? Any audience questions? John White.
Thank you, Chair. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Beautiful. Hi, Danny. How are you? I just wanted to ask if for the update on the water tank installation on the top of Saddleback, where we're at, and there's a time frame to get started and to complete.
Yeah, the last notice, there's no start date. They were gonna give me a heads up when things do start, but there is no a start date. I believe they're next year was what I had heard last, but I have nothing, but I will double check on that.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you, you too.
All right, well, thank you, Danny, for joining us.
Thank you.
Next is Marine Corps Base, Hawaii. Is Christy online?
My guess is they're all at Bay Ball because this is the Marine Corps 250th birthday weekend and the ball starts tonight.
Okay, well, hoorah for the Marine Corps on their 250th anniversary, and I hope they're all enjoying the birthday ball tonight. Thank you. All right, next order of business are our resident and community concerns. This is an important part of our meeting, and would ask that you try to limit your comments and concerns to about 3 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Malia Espinda. I did send out an email to Councilmember Kia Aina and relevant city officials about this. Triangle Park, during the North Kalaheo road work, when there was the sewer line, Triangle Park then was a landing spot for the heavy equipment. At the time, this was a number of years ago, it was a much smaller footprint for that work yard, and they did not bring in gravel or rocks. This time, for the major public work that was in Manikai and Kailua, Triangle Park was once again chosen to be the point for the landing for the equipment. However, this time there was absolutely no word given to the community, to the surrounding area, nothing. We just had fencing going up, and then large boulder, like rocks that became they were the entry point and throughout. So that, of course, went on years as the project went on years. It was about a year ago that I think I approached, maybe it was about a year, Evan. I went to the park committee for this board and said, hey, sooner or later that contractor leaves, and let's make sure it's better than when they came. Well, the project's done, and I started noticing they're taking things down. And for the first time, honestly, I went into that yard to just observe how it's going. And I want to put it on record for this board. There are rocks everywhere. There are stones everywhere. They are, attempting to grow grass, but to me, in my observation, they're growing grass over those stones. Prior to this park is heavily utilized. I live in this area. It is heavily utilized by kids, families, birthday parties under the beautiful trees. There's not enough tables, I should say that. Can we get some tables out there and benches? There's volleyball players. That particular area was heavily for birthday parties. There's sports teams, whether it's legal or not, will come and play. I'm coming to this board, I've come to everybody and on record, we really need that park to be fully restored to its beautiful, complete use, or we will spend decades walking on stones. Those are jagged. The kids all of us will be at risk. So I just put this out there that this board and this community hold that contractor, and please ask the city to please restore that park. Thank you.
Mahalo. Yes, proper restoration has to be done. And Malia, you're right. Before they plant grass, if gravel was brought in, any other aggregate was brought in, that would be the first job, would be to remove it. The project manager made a commitment, or at least acknowledged what their responsibility is, but I think assistance from the community and oversight from the city has to happen. So we appreciate bringing that to everyone's attention. Yes, ma'am.
Aloha. I'm here for Kailua Community Concerns. I am here my name is Leala Cook. I am the parade chair for Waimanalo Christmas Parade, letting Kailua community know that our roads will be closed on December 13 from 8:45 to 11:30 a.m. to celebrate our 33rd annual community Waimanalo Christmas Parade. So it will be starting from Kalanianaole Highway and Humaniki Street all the way to Waimanalo Beach Park. We'll be having a lot of participants, especially here in Kailua High School Band. We also have Kalaheo High School Band will be participating, and a lot of people from this community as well as Waimanalo. We just want to share the holiday spirit as we always do. It's a big event that we have every year in Waimanalo. So we're here to share and let everyone know in regards to our road closure.
Thank you, Leala. This is Saturday, December 13th, 9:45 to 11:30.
8:45.
8:45 to 11:30. And affected will be Kalanianaole Highway and
Homoniki Street to Waimanalo Beach Park. I have a flyer here that I can give to you.
terrific. If you do, I will add that to our meeting materials so that it can be referred to.
Yes. And then we also have a ho'olaulea after our Christmas parade, which Kalani Kalima behind me will be sharing as well.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, Mike Kako. Come on, Kailua, we can do better than that.
Aloha.
Hello, Mike Kako. Right on. Nothing like reciprocating aloha. Yeah, and that's some of the very values that we're trying to reinstill into our keiki and our communities. And that's why we have, if you're stuck in traffic, just pull over and come on over to the ho'olaulea and enjoy yourself. Yeah, we'll help you with your stress. We'll give you some ono food. You guys will have some of the best entertainment that Waimanalo can provide. But in all seriousness, what this is for is to build a stronger and more resilient community. I come over here following my dad. You know, my dad had a lot of aloha for Kailua. He played for Kailua High School during the times of Bob Richardson in 64, 63, and 62 with Uncle Coach Joe Kahawai, which is named after. And to me, that's the golden years of Kailua High School. Uncle Bob Richardson shared that was when had over 10,000 people in the stands cheering. And a part of what we're trying to do in building resilience and a stronger community is we're trying to focus on top of education, employment, medical and mental health services, health, financial literacy, and home ownership. So this is going to be the 5th year that we're going to be providing the Haywood Kalima Scholarship for our community at Kailua High School. We're going to be working with Ms. Frazier. It's going to be $1,000 scholarship. It ain't much, but you know what? Until that scholarship drops, that's enough for them to take care of themselves, enough for them to buy their food, enough for them to be able to wash their clothes and continue to live until the scholarship drops. We are going to be honoring 11 kupuna You guys might know a few of them. You guys might have stopped over there for a few beverages at Bobby's. You guys should know that Bobby's closed. So we're gonna be honoring those kupuna that helped to keep that up and service our community for all of these years. We're gonna be bringing in Antinoi Mahoy. For those of you guys that's been in Hawaii long enough, then you guys would remember back in the 70s, she was the music teacher at Blanche Pope. She's 92 years young. And she helped to make Keiki Chorus for Waimanalo, of which many of our community's musicians came from. We'll be honoring other coaches, counselors, people that's involved in parks, you know, people that believed in us when we didn't believe in ourselves. Waimanalo doesn't forget, and we will help to honor them. Yeah, so please come on over. We're still looking for service providers. We're still looking for vendors for Ono food, and we're still looking for entertainment and everything else. But it's gonna be a jam-packed day with our Christmas parade going, and then right after that, from 12 to 6 p.m., we'll be honoring our kupuna. So we'll be working with Councilwoman Esther Kia Aina and her office. We'll be working with Lisa Martin and her office, and Senator Chris Lee and his office. We welcome Kailua. Come on over and see what we can do together. Mahalo.
Mahalo. That's a full program in Waimanalo on Saturday, December 13th. And then we'll have the Olamana Parade the following Saturday, the 20th. Mahalo. I will add this to our meeting materials. Thank you. Linda.
Thank you. Chairman Hicks, board members, all the city entities that are present this evening. My name is Linda Nixovich, and I'm here this evening requesting additional parking for the residents of Lani Huni Senior Apartments and the city of Honolulu, in the city of Honolulu parking lot. My husband and I are new residents at Lani Huli. We have ties to the community, living in Kailua for 6 years. Boshadar's daughter went to UH and started the Uahi Island Grill with her business partner. We love Lani Huli because it's clean, well-run, safe, and affordable for seniors and friendly neighbors. Our dilemma started with parking tickets, which I responded to with a letter. And the key points in the letter were, we're asking for affordability and safety. If we were paying the meters for a full month, it would accumulate to about $288 per person per month. And that is feeding meters several times a day. Many seniors park throughout the area where they can find free parking, but then they have to walk over cracked sidewalks and past homeless people sleeping on the streets to get back to Lani Huli. There are reserved parking at Lani Huli in the locked park cage area for 20 residents. There are 81 units in Lani Huli, with around half of the residents still driving. There are 20 residents who are on a waiting list to get a parking spot in that caged area, and the list's wait is 5 years. Lani Huli's management was able to get free parking in the evening from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. each day for us. But there's still several people that we've talked to now about this issue. The response to my letter came from the police department, neighborhood commission chair, the city council representative, staff from the mayor's office, and others. Residents and I need reserved parking at Lani Huli that's affordable, safe, and convenient. The ultimate question is what can be done? We are looking to the city and to Lani Huli's management to find a safe, affordable parking for seniors with varied abilities that own their own cars. I'm asking for help. We deeply appreciate listening and hope that we can find a resolution.
Mahalo. Are there others who would like to speak to this issue tonight?
There are several of us. So
Oh, okay. Well, let's go through everyone's testimony first. And then there might be some questions.
Good evening and aloha. That's the way I used to open up my film programs. I'm Steve Frederick. I've lived here in Hawaii for 31 years. I'm the guy with the rare collection of films about Hawaii. Over 120 years of motion picture films representing Hawaii and the Hawaiian culture. I've been showing these films to the hotels, the senior housing, the schools, the libraries, private parties for 30 years. And that's how I used to open up my presentations. Regardless, I am one of the tenants that's living at Lani Hui. I've been there since June of 2019, and I've been waiting 6 years and 4 months for a parking space. I park on the street. For 6 years and 4 months, I've been parking on the street right out here. Sometimes I'm 3 blocks from the Lani Hui complex. Sometimes I'm 6 blocks from the Lani Hui complex. I have to walk these blocks at nighttime, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, when I finish my jobs. When I walk the sidewalks from this area, from the fire station back to Lani Hui, I have a choice of walking on the left side of the street where the fire department, police department, library, and the school yard is, or on the other side, 7-Eleven, Bow's Burrito, the tattoo parlor. I choose that side because it's more lit up. There's more lights over there. The other side, it's a little sketchy. There's street people, there's homeless people. Yes, I have been accosted walking down this street trying to get back to Lani Hui apartments. It is not safe to be parking on the streets of Kailua at nighttime. I am here to support Linda and her campaign to open up additional parking at Lani Hui for the seniors, for the residents there. I'm asking the board, anybody at all possible, to support us in this effort. We get safe, affordable parking for the residents of Lani Hui apartments. Thank you very much.
Mahalo.
Mahalo. My name is Bozda Niksevich, and I live in Lani Hui. Great place to live. I'm here to ask for more reserve parking. I was in an industrial accident in 1990. They let me deaf, a share along my spine cannot be removed. I caused my back pain, something wobbly. I am not very mobile. So again, if you can help with the parking space around the Lani Hui, that'd be great. We don't ask nothing for free. So we can help us. And I thank you. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Aloha, esteemed Board 31 members and all those in attendance tonight. My name is David Worker, and I am also a resident at Lani Hui Apartments. I face the same daily parking challenges spoken of by my fellow residents, trying hard not to be ticketed by parking enforcement and feeding the meter every 3 hours. I am a realist and a numbers guy, so I'm going to present you a few statistics you may be unaware of. But first, let me speak about quality of life. I was excited for my friend when she was accepted to be a resident of Lani Hui several years ago. She quickly realized these same parking issues that we're raising here, especially the safety issue of street parking many blocks away from our building. It forced her to make the personal decision to sell her car, therefore limiting her quality of life to available public transportation. How many others have done the same in frustration at Lani Huli over the years. Me personally, I'm in my full-size four-door Nissan Titan truck going all over the island daily, from Waimanalo to Waianae, distributing free food bank to those in need. I'll be at Pokai Bay tomorrow morning if anybody wants to help me out. 12,000 pounds of food from Hawaii Food Bank. But people need help right now. And so being carless is absolutely not an option for me. I deserve a place, a safe place to park my truck. Statistics on senior drivers are readily available online and validated by insurance industry. Yes, there comes a time when a responsible kapuna should surrender their car keys and leave the driving to those more capable, and every person's time is different. However, medical advancement has extended the lifespan, including physical and cognitive skills of kapuna to safely operate a motor vehicle, especially here in healthy Hawaii. If you think your elders don't or shouldn't own a car or drive, let's examine the facts. According to the National Safety Council, young people between the ages of 25 and 34 are nearly 7 times more likely to be involved in an accident than those aged 75 and above. Wow. Also, older adults reduce their driving, especially at night and in bad weather, which lowers their risk of accidents. Also, they are less distracted by electronic devices. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, which is part of the U.S. Department of Transportation, 22% of the nation's 53 million licensed drivers, that's 22%, are kapuna 65 and above. And that number is rapidly increasing. So I ask you, members who have the ability to affect change for us, if you have safe parking at your residence, could you please assist us in doing due diligence to make it safe for the residents of Lani Huli Apartments? Mahalo.
Mahalo. Are there others who online or here who would like to speak on this issue? Okay, I think there are a few board questions. Jade Lau?
Thank you for coming and raising the concern. This actually stands very firmly in alignment with what I have said from day one of engaging with this board. Why do commercial projects have different requirements than residential projects, especially when it comes to parking? Residents are required to provide ample space on their property for the number of bedrooms for vehicles. Yet commercial properties are allowed to come in and build how many units again? 60, 81 units?
81 apartments, yes.
81 units and provide how much parking? 20?
20.
That's not even a quarter. That's almost exactly a quarter. But here's my bigger concern to the newer residents in the building. Was it clearly disclosed, the parking issue, when you chose to move in?
Yes.
Okay,
But the kicker to that was we were told that it would take years for us to get into the cage and that you have to park around. There was really never a number given. And like I said, we're now kind of calculating stuff. Some of the people that came to our meeting in our community, one woman's paying $250 for that lot between Walgreens and then there's some office buildings. She's paying $250 a month for stationary parking there. Others, we've got lots of different examples. A woman that had come to a meeting talked about that she parked down by the library and one night had to call the security guard from our complex to come to the corner by McDonald's to watch her walk up the street. She said she wasn't feeling right. There was just kind of tense.
I guess my point on that is if the building is properly disclosing it, then as bad as this sounds, and I'm sorry to say it, there's less of a heartburn in the issue because you were disclosed before you chose to move in. However, that being said, that doesn't excuse, Esther, please pay attention, that does not excuse the fact that there is a somewhat commercial building or city-backed building that only provides a quarter of the parking. Again, why are the rules different for the city than they are for the residents? We've had builders come in and propose projects. Oh, I believe one is being built on Ku'ulei that already going into this project. We know there is not enough parking for the number of resident facilities in that building. And I am so tired of hearing, but there's plenty of parking in Kailua. Really? The reason we have metered parking on Ku'ulei is to support the commercial businesses. The reason that we have parking on the neighborhood streets is to support community. I had a birthday party. I live on Kawanui Street. I had to ask my neighbors to borrow their driveway because there is no parking. Because the residents of Lanihuli park there. Because the individuals that attend various schools and programs park there. And hello, the parking lot at Long's is private property. You cannot send your tenants there. So my request as a neighborhood board member, as the transportation chair, Esther, what are we going to do about this? This is not fair. It's not appropriate. And it certainly proves the point. The approval of a building on Ku'ulei with no parking or minimal parking was a really bad idea on somebody's part. And I'm going to address the elephant in the room. Whose pocket is making change at the expense of every resident in Kailua? Anybody else?
May I address an answer? I was not disclosed that in my lease or verbally that there was such an issue with parking. I had heard through the grapevine, sure, but disclosure, legal disclosure on my lease, no. And by the way, there are many, many parking spaces in our building. However, they have meters on them and they must be fed every 3 hours, 24 hours, seven days a week parking. And that money goes to the city.
I understand that. The city has available parking. There is no, I mean, I get it. Here's a really easy, obvious suggestion. What if we make the downstairs of that parking lot that hardly anybody uses on a regular basis? Why don't we make that resident parking? Take the meters out, give them tags. There's an option. Esther, do you have something to address to this? Because your input right now would be invaluable. Sorry, Chair.
Well, I think that's kind of what we usually get to in committee meetings.
Aloha and good evening, everybody. So I am not surprised at the concerns raised. I live across the street. And when I was first elected, this issue came to my attention. I contacted the Department of Transportation Services, and there was a deal on the table to increase the parking stalls. So you have the Lanihuli management, and then you have a property management team. The property management team was notified. So I had done my job, and they were supposed to work with DTS with regard to the parameters of the additional parking. So I just want to make that clear. At the outset of the building, it was negotiated the number of stalls. And what I'm recommending then, so I understand the issue full well, but I need to let you know, it's not like people have no empathy. You need to understand the history of what was negotiated when it was built and where we stand now. So I've been notified this week that you have a change in management at the building as well as the overall property management team. And I have committed to working with DTS to find out where we stand now. because I'm a one for time efficiency, I'm not going to waste my time with letters anymore. I commit to you, I will get a warm body. We will come to Lani Huli, and we are going to have a top story, but you will bring the property management team there as well, because that is where the inefficiency stands. They know exactly what has been going on. They have not made you aware. You should have been aware when you got into the building. I empathize with you, but I need to let you know, there are a lot of people who live in Kailua who want that public parking. And that is going to be the challenge that we're facing. I just want to be transparent. So I commit to the board that that is what I'm going to facilitate, because I'm sitting over there and I'm hearing this as if this hasn't been discussed. It has been discussed. I facilitated an arrangement where there will be an increase in parking, and that was never, ever followed up. And the management of your building, okay? Because they have a job to you, you know, as tenants there. So I'm tired of wasting time, and I will make sure that I have the relevant city person there. We will have, you must have a room there. We can all talk story, and we'll all be in the same room so that the city can explain to you what was historically negotiated, the demands of public parking needs in that area. As you know, Cinnamon's parking lot is chaotic right now. And, you know, during my report, I'll update you on that. But anyway, I just want to let you know what's going on. So I'm not deaf. I got it, but I already had it. So if you have been ill-informed about when you came in, then I'm sorry for that. But I'm going to do my best to get you the answers that you need. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mahalo.
Esther.
Mahalo. I refer this issue to Transportation and Public Works Committee. It's on the committee agenda, which meets here next Thursday. Linda, I would encourage you to bring the petition that you have that's been signed by the residents. My understanding is that management issues vehicle stickers. Is that correct?
I'm short here. We were issued stickers for the evening between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. So we have free parking at night from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. But then from that point on, you know, we're supposed to be feeding the meters. Some of us move cars, you know, everybody's doing a lot of different things. There's probably about 30 of us. You know, only 20 are on the list, but there's others that just gave up a long time ago and are, like you said, parking on Melaniu, parking over by O'Reilly's, parking all over.
Yeah. Management needs to ensure that there aren't abuses. Management needs to verify that the vehicle is registered to a resident and that the resident is actively using the vehicle. And that would be a management responsibility, and then they issue the sticker so it doesn't get abused. In terms of competition with commercial use of the parking lot, basically all the residents who aren't in the stalled area with 20,
That's a caged area.
the caged area with
The
20,
Garage door.
the others are in there in that parking lot, parking free at 10 p.m. and otherwise feeding the meters. So they're already using the spaces. The inequity here is that there's a two-tier system with the residents. Some get a reserved caged area, which is safe and secure, and others have to feed the parking meters. And that 2 tiers, especially with a 5-year waiting list, if it was a 5-month waiting list, that would be a different matter. That's the issue to be addressed. And I think Jade Lau is eager to take that on.
Great. I appreciate that. Appreciate everybody's input on this matter. Yes, and I'm younger, I'm Bushdar's wife, so I've got a kick in my step yet, but, when I see some of the drivers that are pushing walkers around and things like that, that they're can drive and things, and the statistics that Dave told us, I was on a senior commission on the mainland many, many years ago when I was an elected official. And, I learned a lot too, that was the safer driving group and what they brought to the city and, how to help accommodate and things like that. So again, I appreciate you working on this issue. I look forward to meeting and talking at the Transportation Commission, and hopefully with Rep, we can get this done.
All right, well, we need to do our fact finding, and we're going to rely on you and others in the community to help inform the committee as it considers this issue. So mahalo. Gary Weller, did you have a question? David Laia?
Yes, my question is more to Esther. Esther, I know we have a couple other properties that are being developed. One right over here across from the library that's a multi-unit place. And then we talked about the other one that's alongside the marsh. And so I don't know what the requirement is when they get their permitting, but to have 20 stalls for 60 apartment units, it seems, or 81 apartment units, it seems ridiculous that they would have received their building permit without having adequate parking for the attendants.
Some of it is, I think, when the building was built, and I've just gotten bits and pieces over the years, but the legal name is Lonnie Hooley Elderly Apartments. Well, I don't think we feel like we're elderly, but that's the reality of how the society and like Dave said that, we're healthier, we are driving longer. But the mindset was, 20 is enough for who's going to be driving here. So
20 is enough for 60 residents. So that's my question, Esther, if you could clarify, because with these other 2 units coming on board, this problem is going to be significantly greater along not only with you, but all of the new construction projects that are underway.
David, you actually raise a really good point, and therein lies the challenge. It depends on the parameters of the project. So for Kihapai Place, there is going to be adequate parking. That is a city project. Of course, they have a developer, but it is a city-run project. With regard to 330 Pool A, that is a Bill 7 project enacted into law in 2019 when I was not a council member. And it provides parameters that doesn't require the necessary parking with regard to, and that is the law. And the Department of Planning and Permitting has a full discretionary authority over the project. There's no role for the city council. There was a role for the affordable housing project on Kihapai Place. With regard to Lonnie Hooley, it was over 30 years ago. I'm going to get to the bottom of this, but I have to tell you that, there's city parking as, I failed to believe that that was not negotiated. In other words, the proponents of the development project knew exactly what they were doing. But again, as I stated earlier, because of the importance of this issue for all of you who have attended to tonight, I will make sure we get to the bottom of this and we have a small talk story at the center so they can understand the history and where we can go from here. I already know from what I'm hearing chatter in the neighborhood because public parking is scarce. And so there are those who believe that they would be very concerned about any decrease of public parking. But thank you, Jay. I'll follow up with you as well.
Okay, mahalo, Esther. Kate Ryder.
I don't know if this has been done by the city before, but it would be helpful if the residents could try to track the open stalls that are available as per Jade's suggestion. And if there's timing, because I could see opening up the parking to be more like 8, from like 5 to 8, so from 8, when the stores are open and people are trying to go to the doctor's offices, having all that parking available, I feel like is really important. But you guys don't need to be waiting till 10 p.m. to get to your parking spots when I feel like it's pretty open. So if you could just kind of gather some casual data on that before the transportation meeting, that would help kind of just as another option.
Anyone else?
Any other comments or questions? All right. Well, I know that the committee is going to dig deeply into all these aspects, including a change in demographics over the 30 years. Other resident and community concerns online, area Juliet Castillo.
Aloha, everybody. Aloha, Chair. Thank you for hearing me today. My name is Aria Juliet Castillo. I'm a resident of Kailua. Last year, this board passed a good governance resolution recognizing transparency and accountability essential for restoring public trust in Hawaii's democracy. Tonight, I wanted to share with the public and all the lawmakers that are listening, there is a petition being circulated addressing the underlying corruption that this resolution was based on. In 2022, federal court documents revealed that a sitting Hawaii lawmaker allegedly accepted a $35,000 bribe. Nearly 3 years later, that legislator's identity remains hidden and no charges have been filed. Just to be clear, we have a lawmaker, possibly still in office, who's voting on anti-corruption and campaign finance reforms while being implicated in a bribery scandal case. Federal prosecutors are probably not going to investigate this further due to Supreme Court rulings narrowing the definition of bribery, but there's nothing that prevents the state from investigating. The author of the petition, Ali Silver, has said if they're not willing to look into themselves, that is the real problem. The petition is urging the legislature to form an independent investigative committee with subpoena and contempt powers, because the state still has jurisdiction and the statute of limitations goes until 2027. This petition was just launched last week, and just yesterday, House Speaker Nadine Nakamura has already rejected the petition and has said that she declines to take action. People deserve to know whether one of our elected officials have taken a bribe of $35,000 in secret and continues to serve without any accountability, undermining government reforms our public is so desperate for. You can find this petition at tinyurl.com/high-ledge-bribe. That's tinyurl.com/HILEGBRIBE. Thank you so much.
Mahalo. I'll ask Gary Weller, Chairman of our Community and Government Engagement Committee, if you'd be willing to take a look at this petition, take a look at our own resolution and the action in the legislature, and evaluate it for any possible board consideration. Would you be willing to do that? Yeah. What I'm asking is, would the Community and Government Engagement Committee be willing to examine this petition, review our own resolution that we passed a year ago, and the actions that have taken place in the legislature to see if there might be some consideration to consider something additional for the upcoming legislative session? Would your committee be willing to examine our old resolution, the current petition, and the actions in the legislature? Okay, then this is so added to your agenda on the third Tuesday of the month. And ma'am, would you be able to attend the committee meeting or provide petition material for them to consider?
Yes, absolutely. I would be happy to attend.
Very well. Thank you very much. Are there other resident and community concerns tonight? All right. Always an important, I think sometimes the most important part of our meeting. We'll move on now to the mayor's and the governor's reports. Mayor Blangiardi's representative. We have Jim or Shane tonight.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Chair.
Aloha, Shane Enright.
Thanks for having me. Have a few items to discuss this evening. Just trying to open this up here. The newsletter, Chair, did you get a copy of that tonight?
I did not, but I haven't checked email since earlier. Oh,
Okay.
You have it? Okay, we will
I
add that
do.
to, yes, we do have a copy and we will add it to our meeting materials.
Okay, great. Then I'm just going to go over a few of the highlights. Skyline has extended itself. It's going further now. So if you haven't had an opportunity to check out the rail, and probably most importantly for your Windward residents, the sewer rates, the new sewer rates go into effect January 1st. So that's just something to take into consideration. Also, the Royal Hawaiian Band will be having a concert November 28th. It has a lot of really great local artists. So if you want to check that out, again, November 28th at the Neil Blaisdell Center, starting at 6 p.m. Two concerns that I was able to get some answers to. Just give me a second as I try to scroll down a minute. A bit. One was, I believe on that, Kalapawai, the roundabout, the resident had a concern about if the project goes past any further, if the city is allowed to collect on, there we go, on expenses after it's gone past a certain date. I understand it's gone on forever. But they did say that they can pursue any damages. They didn't say at this time that they're going to, but they also added that by this month, it's supposed to be near completion, with completion of what they refer to as the current contract finished by the end of this year, 2025. I hope that's good news for all of you. And then the other concern was at 1519 Uluhaku Place. I can tell you, long story short, that NOVs have been issued at that property due to not having the proper building permits. Chair, I believe that was one of your concerns as well.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. So those were two. And then Chair, I know there was another issue with the safer roads and is that Project Vision? Did you want me to get a little bit into that this evening?
Yes, I think there are two subtopics under your wing tonight. One is an update on the municipal parking lot. The other was Vision Zero. What the general parameter of Vision Zero is, because we're concerned. We've seen traffic and pedestrian fatalities actually increase, and we had recently, tragically, a pedestrian fatality in Lanikai, and Vision Zero is to take us in a better direction, and I think Department of Transportation Services had a 3-minute neighborhood board pitch that was going to be a subset, and the other was the municipal parking lot. And
okay. As far as the municipal parking lot, I do recall that being a major issue last month in October. I wasn't giving anything further on that to report tonight. I apologize. I know there was a lot last month. So if there's further questions with that, please send them my way, Chair, and we'll get you those answers as soon as possible. As far as the other topic on safe streets, safer roads, as the spokesperson for EMS, all of the traffic fatalities go through me, serious, critical, all the ones we consider minor, they all go through me before they go to the media. So this is something Director Ireland and myself do take very seriously. From DTS, though, they did give me the following to report to you. I'll try to get through it quickly, but let me know if you have any questions. In 2025, the City Council passed Bill 44, which reduces the speed limit in school zones to 20 miles per hour and establishes 20 miles per hour as the default speed limit for unposted roads. The city is now working to design and implement these changes at schools across Oahu. As far as electric bicycle goes, Mayor Blangiardi signed into law better regulations on electric bicycles, including new helmet requirements for riders under 18, age restrictions for certain types of e-bikes, and prohibitions on reckless riding like wheelies on public roads. And hopefully you all saw yesterday that the DOE has made very strict rules on children riding e-bikes, not allowing them to ride those e-bikes at any middle schools and having strict requirements if students use them at high school. So we definitely applauded the DOE with that. As far as infrastructure upgrades specific, it looks like to Kailua. Kailua quick build projects, completed projects in Kailua include a pedestrian refuge on Oniava Road, crosswalk improvements on Mokapa Road, and safety upgrades at 2 crosswalks on Keolu Drive and near Kaelepulu Elementary School. Kalapawai Roundabout, a major improvement project at Kahalaheo Avenue and Kailua Road, that was the one I was mentioning earlier, including a roundabout, raised crosswalks with speed tables and a shared use path, is nearing completion. Keolu Drive Complete Streets project, the city is in the design phase for this federally funded project to improve pedestrian and bicycle safety on Keolu Drive with better bike infrastructure, speed reduction measures, including interim speed humps near schools and more upgraded crosswalks and walkways. Construction is anticipated to go out to bid no sooner than 2028. And lastly, high priority walkway improvements. Federal and state funding has been secured for the design of major walkway improvement projects on portions of Kailua Road, Kalaheo Avenue, and Ku'ule Road, with preliminary engineering beginning in early 2028. And that's kind of the nuts and bolts of what I was given by DTS, but I'm available for any questions, Chair, on any other topics, including this one.
Okay. Let me just touch on at the beginning of resident community concerns. Did you hear Malia Spenda discussion on Triangle Park?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was listening. Maybe I missed it. Triangle Park
Okay.
over by Kakahiaka area?
Triangle Park was a portion of it was fenced off and became the construction equipment laydown area
Yeah.
for the Kalapawai roundabout project. And the community concern is that for this laydown this time, they brought in gravel and stone and rock.
Okay, yes, I heard her. Yes,
And-
I did.
And that needs to be removed as part of the restoration and rehabilitation of that corner of the park so it can be brought back to full and proper park usage, which is going to require a good faith effort by the contractor, but it's also going to require good oversight by the city.
Okay, understood, Chair.
Bill, can I make a comment? We should be referring to it as Kaelepulu Mini Park because it's not actually called Triangle Park. And I think people get confused, especially like on the county level, because Triangle Park, there's various Triangle Parks across the island. So Kaelepulu Mini Park.
I got it. I know
Kaelepulu
which
Mini
one.
Park.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. Kailua Mini Park. All right. Okay, so we are up to board member questions for you, Shane.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify, did you say that there was going to be construction out for bid for Kailua in 2028? Like that means the project will not begin until or 2030. I'm just curious if that's
Yeah, that is what it says. Construction out to bid, 2028.
So will there be any sort of contingency measures put in place or any sort of, there are just many schools on Kailua Drive. And I've heard from many parents around that area, including myself, concerns about their children. And yeah, I'm just curious. That's my.
Yeah, I hear your concerns. I'll bring that back to DTS and see if there's anything that they can do in the meantime before all of this goes out to bid, and then construction will take a little bit after that.
Okay,
But
I just wanted, yeah, make sure. Okay, thanks.
Okay, other board questions for Shane Enright tonight? Online? I'm sorry. Lisa Martin, do you have a question for Shane Enright?
I do. Shane, you mentioned a list of projects that I don't think are in the works yet, but maybe are planned for some soon. One of them was crosswalks near Kailua School on Kailua Drive. What is that prior? I assume that's prior to the Complete Streets project. And I wanted to know if there was any time frame for that. We've been trying to do that for years. And in fact, DOT offered to do it immediately for free because there was 2 pedestrian deaths in that area. And the city was unable to accept that offer.
yeah, it does mention it, and it does say it's in the design phase. So I don't have an exact timeline on that, but that's something that we should be able to get you by next month.
Okay, it would be great to know when they plan to start actually implementation. We've really been waiting a long time and it's been unfortunate. Thanks.
Okay, mahalo. Other questions? Any audience questions? Kate Ryder.
I guess from what I'm hearing is it sounds like there is a commitment to complete streets that seems to overhaul consideration of safety. I think that's the real question here, not like, oh, we have this planned timeline, but like, can we move up the timeline even though it doesn't match with the complete streets plan, which is an ideal situation, but we're not in an ideal situation. We're in a situation where children are at risk the longer that we wait. So.
Yeah, I understand your concerns, and all I can do is ask DTS if they can get us a better timeline or sort of put in some other safety measures while they're working to complete this safe streets. Fortunately, again, like I started off with, Kailua actually does fare very well compared to other neighborhoods that I cover. And not saying that that means that we shouldn't do other things. We absolutely should. But one of the messages should be to the community is just to slow down and get off your phones and pay attention. Because even with the speed humps, we still see fatalities on the west side. And even with crosswalks, we still have fatalities on the west side. So we really do need to look at also getting back to the basics.
Okay. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions for Shane Enright? Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Bob Burke. The new lifeguard station facility at Lanikai Point was 95% clear, 95% finished about 6 months ago, and then it was shuttered and no work has been done since that time. When is this facility going to be complete so the lifeguards can move their container boxes off of the park and into their facility? Will you look that up and let us know next month, please?
I will. I don't want to speak incorrectly, but what I've been told is next year sometime. And obviously that's soon with December being next month, but there was some sort of delays that occurred, but we can get you an update on that, Chair.
Thank you. I'm pretty sure one of the remaining items is the sewer work, which is to connect to a new sewer line, which has been scheduled and postponed a couple of times in the last month. Any other questions? Okay, mahalo, Shane.
Thank you.
Governor Josh Green's representative, Aaron Connor, is unable to join us tonight, but the governor's letter is in the meeting materials, and I'd be happy to relay any questions for Aaron. Any questions? All right, we'll move on to elected official reports. Representative Scott Matayoshi. Representative Lisa Martin.
Hi, I don't know why my video is not working, so I'll just speak. But I've been, as chair of Human Services and Homelessness, I have been very wrapped up in our SNAP changes, or rather our, the impact of the federal shutdown on SNAP. Fortunately, the state, the governor took initiative, and the state was able to use the same EBT cards that people are used to using for their SNAP benefits to give every SNAP beneficiary $250 credit, which is about $100 shy of the average SNAP benefit per person. So it is not making up for the difference. In addition, the AG's office was part of a lawsuit that they won in court to ask the federal administration to reinstate SNAP benefits. But the Trump administration has appealed that, so that is not forthcoming yet. In order to, find a source of funding to help people with other expenses so it could free up money for food, the state has dug into their TANF reserves. We had quite a buildup of TANF reserve funds. And so they are now committing $100 million, which, to be honest, was already in the works before the shutdown, but they just sped it up. And that will go towards very generous subsidies for households with children only. So it is not for households that do not have children, because the funding source is restricted to that. And they are very generous utility, rent, mortgage relief for a 4-month period. And if anybody, it's for people who are up to 300% of the AMI. So it is working class, not just very poor. And if people have been impacted by the federal shutdown and are not getting paid because they have a federal job, they can apply for that and report their current income as zero to help pay their mortgage or other expenses. So these are some pretty, that's very generous benefit that won't apply to everybody, but for some people that could make a real difference this coming year. So I hope people will share that information out, and I hope we can take advantage of it. And with that, I'm open to any questions.
All right, mahalo. Questions for Representative Lisa Martin? All right. Well, we know these are complex times, Lisa. We appreciate your being proactive and forward-looking. Any questions online? Any audience questions? Mahalo.
Thank you. Good night.
I'm going to double back. Scott Matayoshi, are you available online?
Hi, I'm Joel Burgess. I work in Scott Matayoshi's office. Representative Matayoshi is taking care of his kid who's sick tonight, but I'm available for any questions.
Okay, no report. Any questions for Scott Matayoshi's office? Thank you for joining us. No questions. And we hope Scott's kids recover quickly.
Thank you.
Senator Chris Lee. Councilmember Esther Kiana.
Hello again. I wanted to provide an update for the Cinnamon's parking lot. So Shane, I hope you are still on, so you don't need to worry about it. As many of you know, I have not been happy with regard to how the Department of Design and Construction has laid out its time frame for the parking lot improvements. They, of course, are proposing an archaeological survey, which needs to be undertaken because of the severity of the improvements before the parking lot improvements take place. And so without my even knowing, while they postponed it a couple of weeks ago, there was never a definitive time frame. And both the managing director and I got contacted by a lot of businesses who were pissed off because they were never notified of the postponement, and they had altered their business activities, and I'm pretty sure some appointments, because they wanted people to know that there was going to be work, and they were never notified. So I need to let you know that the earliest for these improvements would be in the beginning of 2026. I was unable to get a definitive time frame, which I am not happy about, because I think everybody deserves it. There are not just restaurants there. There is a medical building there with a lot of kupuna who go to those offices, limited ADA parking, parking stalls. So I have been asking, I'm sharing this with you to share my frustration, that given the fact that the project, and by the way, the Pilikia is between DDC and the developer of the affordable housing project. And I'm like thinking, hello, I mean, what were you thinking? A significant part of the base yard for the affordable housing project is in it. So time is money, right? So the project is due to be completed in mid summer of next year. So all I need your help. I just want to know definitively when. Because it's not just for the businesses, it's for customers and the residents of the area who need this. And the reason it's relevant for Lani Huli, of course, is with your limited parking. There's even more limited parking in the Cinnamon's parking lot. Shane, with regard to the Bill 44 on speed mitigation, which is a bill that I introduced with Councilmember DeSantis Town, I actually included $500,000 in this recent fiscal year. So I would like to know, when is the Department of Transportation Services, in concert with the relevant agency, going to start implementing that, the rollout with regard to the decrease in the speed limit? Kailua Stormwater, thank you for those who came to the town hall on October 22nd. Voting is still open on the projects until November 14th. And the website is kailipuluststormwater.org. And a thank you to the board and Levani in particular for helping to shepherd that. Lastly, I stated before that I'm going to be introducing a charter amendment to include historic preservation as an authorized activity under the current Land, Clean Water and Natural Lands Fund, to be renamed the Land, Natural Resources and Historic Preservation Fund. My proposal is number 148, and I sent it to be uploaded to the neighborhood board site Gloria, who's online, will also be inserting a link to it. It's available on the website of the Charter Commission. My justification, of course, is that there is no funding stream for historic preservation. And having established an Oahu Historic Preservation Commission, it is timely and appropriate that this fund be expanded to include this activity. Not only does it get $8 to $9 million annually, but it actually has a surplus of $37 million. And it is very, very challenging for land acquisitions, yeah? It's either outright land acquisition or on occasion easement. So I just think it is appropriate. And for those of you who are interested, tomorrow is the deadline. HonoluluCityCouncil.org/charter-commission. And that's my report. Thank you. If you have any questions?
Thank you very much, Esther. I will see if I missed any emails and ensure that we have 148 Charter Initiative on historic preservation added to our meeting materials. I don't think it's in there right now.
Okay, yeah, Gloria sent it in the afternoon because it took them a while to upload. I respectfully asked for the Neighborhood Board Commission to consider a resolution of support at your December 4th meeting. I need to let you know how this goes. I did all my homework. I actually said the verbiage and everything, but at the end of the day, it's kind of a popularity contest and I need to garner support. So I'm going to go to all of my allies and all of the neighborhood boards because I believe that it is appropriate course of action. If this fund had no money in it, I wouldn't be asking you, yeah? $37 million. And the surplus was up to $70 million. And so I'm just saying that it could cushion the absorption of a new activity and then still have the leeway on an annual basis for $8 to $9 million to continue accumulating funds.
Well, when is their meeting where we would need to have comments submitted?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the way it's going to happen is they're going to make a determination, whittle it down, but over the next several months, they're going to be looking to see what kind of support there is for the various proposals. So I highly recommend for a subcommittee to maybe look at all of the relevant ones. I'm 148 and I was at the tail end, so I would think that you're going to minimally get 200 amendments.
Donna or Gary, would either of you? Okay, we will add this to the committee agenda.
Yes, I'll take
for-
it. This is Donna.
Okay, Donna, you'll take it? Okay.
Yes.
We'll add that to Planning, Zoning, and Environment Committee to consider if the neighborhood board should adopt a position in support. And that's hereby added to your agenda for the third Tuesday in November. Recognizing that any comments for tomorrow would be on an individual basis, but as Esther mentions, for ongoing input of additional community concerns and recommendations that you take that under your wing, Donna.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, and thank you. I need to let you know there's going to be a public hearing process for people to share their mana'o on all of the various proposals.
Okay, very good. Questions for Esther tonight? David, Leah?
Thank you, sir. Just wanted to understand, is there any more proposed changes to Act 73 with regards to the half-mile distance for the landfill? And is there an update regarding the landfill selection?
Thank you for the question. To my knowledge, that might be more appropriate for the state lawmakers. As many of you know, I completed a white paper on the landfill situation, and I'm sure most of you have gotten it. I am unaware of any measure, but I'm not going to take it for granted because I'm sure our legislators will tell you, but I think the number one priority was to make sure that Wahiwa was off the table. The reason I undertook the white paper and conducted a lot of site visits in concert with the director of ENV was to prepare because it's logical that now that they're looking for a potential site that we might be on the radar, but my ground intelligence is telling me that there's no activity and I'm just trying to be safe. And I think we just need to be vigilant as the legislative session starts and we see, I know Representative Lee and Representative Martin are going to be looking at the slew of bills and will notify us immediately if they seek to decrease the buffer.
And then regarding the Kalaheo Hillside, is that, we were supposed to get reports about the soil?
It's been completed. David Pound had inquired with Arm Towel today, and it has not been completed. He wanted to know if the residents will be getting the draft report, and the Department of Homeland said they will only be getting a final report. They don't believe that it will be in time for the December 4th neighborhood board meeting, but they anticipate closure by Christmas. And so the soonest, if you're going to be in recess in January, the soonest would be February to come before the board.
Okay, other questions for Esther? Online? Any audience questions? All right, mahalo, Esther.
Thank you.
Representative Mike Lee.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Board. Thank you, community members. Assuming that Chair Martin was going to talk a little bit about SNAP, I prepared a little bit of some of the other work we're doing with the Labor Committee. But we are very grateful and very lucky to have her as our Human Services Chair. So over the last few months, I've been working on a speed task force. There's a little article about it. One of the task force we're looking at is public safety, the environment, but also getting DPP to approve projects faster without taking away from public safety or our protections on the environment. So I'm in charge of one of the pigs on IWS, or conversion of our cesspools into our waste management systems. We've been hard at work. We've probably heard at least 60 different recommendations. We have collectively in our pigs spent 200 hours working on it in the last few months, and between the other two pigs, probably over 1,000 hours in the last 2 months. In December, we will kind of report some of our findings and the recommendations that we make to some of these processes, and the public will have time to testify or to look at it, and we'll be taking a look at some of that for January. It's also a much larger part of a larger task force to do this, but there's going to be other pigs, 6 other pigs in the next year and a half. So it's a big project. I'm probably just going to remain on this one pig. I've got a lot of work to do on that end. The other one that sometimes we get emails about, paid family leave was a really big topic in the last legislative session. I think correctly so, when we heard back reports about what it would take, how much it would cost. That bill was deferred, but we're starting to take a very close look, as I was saying earlier, 2 meetings ago, how other states are doing it. Some of the unique challenges we have here locally, we're the only state that the largest sector is the public sector. For something like paid family leave and to get a package like it to move, we also need to consider how many of our residents are going to be impacted in a positive way. There are exceptions and exemptions for small businesses. And that's kind of what we're playing with a little bit now, because 95% of the people in the state work for a small business or a business with less than 50 employees. So the question is, do we want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to do a study, many millions more to get paid family leave moving, if it's only going to impact a very small portion of our state? We are trying to make sure that it can impact a larger portion of the state, but with so much of a public sector and so many unions, we're trying to make sure that the study that we're about to do is very specific. It doesn't waste government funding, and that it's very specific to our state, because it's not quite the same as some of the other states that have passed it in the last few years. Went to the great Collar Hill meeting a couple of weeks ago over at Collar Hill High School. So one of the things we've been hearing a lot from community members is on Mohapu, across from Collar Hill, there's a side gate. The last few years, there have been more cars parking there, and I've seen it myself. There are high schoolers running across the street, jumping over the median, illegally crossing to go through that side gate. The principal is working hard on it. It is legal for them to park there, but what's happening is, it's not about being lazy as much as, well, it's being lazy, but kids who show up a little bit later want to just cross the street instead of walking down, turning up, walking past, and walking backwards, to get to Collar Hill. And then the other one is kids crossing the street after school. They'd rather not walk all the way down to turn down by Oneaba, take the light, and then cross the street. So some of what they've been doing is, obviously they've been doing a campaign within the school and parents to let kids know to use the crosswalk. And it's been improving a little bit, but an option to close that gate during certain hours is also going to be in the works as well. So those are some of the community concerns we've been talking about recently. I was asked by two different constituents to let people know that we've had 6 lifeguards quit in the last few months, I guess, at the city and county pool. So if you want to be a lifeguard, or you are a lifeguard, or you know someone who is, please have them, apply with city and county, because they have very limited hours at the current time. So yeah, that's my major report. I'll take any questions.
Okay, questions for Mike Lee? Gary Weller.
Hi. Hello? Yeah, I was looking through my notes from in the past of things that I should be following up on. The women's prison got reconstructed, and your predecessor was checking out for me that the girls would never get raped again by the camera system and the monitoring system being turned off. And now that it's all finished, I was wondering if you couldn't take a tour of the women's prison and make sure that that's a guarantee that they perform during the reconstruction. Because when I discussed it originally, they do have wires that will attach to the cameras and systems that you cannot disconnect. And what was happening over there was either the guard that was in the monitoring booth would turn off the monitors and the recorders, or the guards would unplug the cameras so there would be no recording. And I did some research for your predecessor that on the mainland, a lot of wardens have a titanium safe in their office, and it has the recording devices in it. And one civilian from the community has one of the combinations and the warden has the other. And the only time the tape can be, reviewed is with those two people opening the safe up and checking the tapes. And then it can be turned over to the authorities. So I don't know if that has been checked or done, but I do remember the settlement was in $3 or $4 million.
No, an important issue. I will do this. I will contact them and set this up. I don't know when that will happen, but I'll give you an update next month if I haven't been able to get it done about when that might be. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Yep.
Donna Wong?
Yes, what was that first pig that you mentioned that you were on?
Oh, it's the IWS pig for the speed task force.
Okay, say that again, please.
It's the speed task force, and it's the IWS pig on the speed task force.
And what is the purpose of that?
I'm sorry?
What is the purpose?
Oh, the purpose is to expedite permitting and planning across the state so that people can build their houses more quickly and efficiently without compromising public safety, protections for the environment, and the processes and the employees that are currently working.
Okay, is one of your objectives to present legislation the next session, or are you going to issue a report?
A report's gonna get issued. It is our intent to put in some legislation based on this pig. It's not going to be completely finished. The pig is going to be finished, but the speed task force is going to continue. But we are planning on putting in some legislation for the upcoming session. Yes, Donna.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for your question.
Lavani Lipton?
Did you say the second pig was on cesspools?
No, the pig that I'm on is related, so it's on individual wastewater systems, which for most people, it's going to be a cesspool conversion to an IWS. But it also includes people who need to build an IWS or who aren't connected to wastewater. It may not always be a cesspool conversion, but I'd say 95% of what we're talking about is related to that 2050 mark of trying to get the next 83,000 cesspools converted. The majority of our work is really looking at, for us with IWS, there's a lot of different factors for DPP, for SHIFT, and some of the other factors we'll be looking at. But one of the major bottlenecks is actually not DOH approving it in the approval process. DOH actually approves it on average in 10 days, but there's a lengthy, difficult process that happens once it's been approved between the engineer, the interpretation of the law, and DOH, and the back and forth that goes back and forth between the engineer and DOH. One of the things we're looking at is making a more transparent system so that residents know where they are in the process or whenever a new comment is made back and forth. But there's a lot of difficulty. We don't have enough engineers, and the engineers, once they put in their plan, it's just human nature. It's, no, I did it, we're done. How? And they're like, no, but this is a special case. It's a specific location. Here's what needs to be done. And then they get back and they're like, well, blah, blah, blah. And there's a lot of back and forth there. And I think one of the difficulties is if that process takes too long, it also affects the process to get the permit approved. Not the DOH approval, but the actual DPP approval. So there's a mess of DPP processes. It's complex. And it's also about the state and the counties working together because every county in the state has different rules.
So to remove a cesspool, you need DPP and DOH approval?
DOH has to approve the type of IWS system that you're going to build. You have to submit designs to an engineer.
I mean, with 83,000 cesspools, it's going to take forever.
It is.
Is that why the goal is like?
We are definitely short, Ravani. With that being said, we are also being creative in the pig because what we found is DOH is actually doing it pretty quick and we're working on the process. But when tax credits or incentives are offered, it happens. But a lot of people have this feeling of, noise, 2050, I'm going to do them now, right? Like, and by all means, I understand. Sometimes a family is not in a situation where they can do it today. Hard financial times, whatever it might be. And eventually they might be able to get it. But by and large, a lot of people are choosing not to, just because it's 25 years away. One of the recommendations, well, I can't share that yet, but we have some really good recommendations to make sure that these conversations are not conversations that happen after I'm gone and somebody else new comes in and someone else after Councilmember Kiana comes in. There's some recommendations to make sure we are meeting on a regular basis to make sure that there is a master plan and we're sticking to it. Because I think that's one of the other bottlenecks we're seeing is over time, different counties have different officials who have different ideas about how to use those funds sometimes. So it can be difficult. So a lot of work without.
I hope the timeline gets moved up and I hope whatever obstacles you've identified, you address solutions to those obstacles in the interest of water quality and protecting the public's health and safety.
Yeah.
2050 is too far off. And people's cesspools, I just got a call this week.
Yeah.
It's an unusual situation. I will talk to you about it privately.
Yeah.
A cesspool was backing up into a shower that a couple was renting in a long-term rental. And yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, no, it's not uncommon to hear a story or to know someone who's experienced that. But yes, we are doing our best.
And I note that federal funding assistance for cesspools was part of Governor Green's $10 billion negotiating package with the Army. So they're, it's a big problem. It's going to take a lot of resources to address.
Yeah, it's a tall task.
Other questions for Mike Lee tonight? Bruce Andrews.
Hey, aloha, Mike. So you brought up Color Hill, and then just wanted to bring something up to bring it up to you. So I am a assistant coach for the football team, and when you're talking about the Color Hill kids crossing the street, and talking about the principal, I just wanted to bring this up to your attention. So the facility, so the boys' locker room, the weight room, the girls and boys' PE locker room as well, and I believe the whole building over there has been without power for the last few months. And I know this because I'm assistant coach over there for the football team. And despite the terrible conditions we've had, we had a great season, 7-1, and unfortunately ended last week. However, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. The coaches, the parents, they strung up temporary lights. They had a generator in there. I'm not sure how the classroom, how they're making do, but it's kind of unsat for those conditions, right? So I just want to kind of bring that to your attention. We're always worried about the keiki, and that's I'm not a staff member at the school over there, but I've been told it's going to take months to address, and I'm not sure what the issue is, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention and see if we can get some resources done that way and figure out what's going on, because I think they deserve better. We need running water and power, and they don't have power over there. So just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Yeah, and you need lights to wash your hands. No, Coach, I appreciate it. So at that meeting, a lot of these issues were brought up. Actually, when people heard I was coming, they actually brought a long list of items. Just real quick, I know sorry, Chair, I know I'm going over my time. The DOE changed the way they do CIP asks and deferred maintenance last year. Supposedly, it's a little more organized, and they're going to be prioritizing based on need. I'm not sure, I don't know what you were talking about was on the list I saw, but I did get a list that I'm going to be sharing with the principal of Kalaheo, all of the funds that are projected to come in the next 3 to 6 months for Kalaheo, and it does address many of the listed items that some of the parents and community members brought up. I don't remember talking about the locker room though. And congratulations on your season. I made it to 2 games. You guys lost to Pro City, but we beat them 2 weeks before, right? It's always a tough pill. So I'm a coach as well. It's a tough pill to swallow, but sports are oftentimes, one of the big prides of our community. So good job, Coach. But yeah, no, I wrote that down. I'll put that onto the list. And if that's something that's not allocated for, these are the types of things that we can push when this legislative session begins with the DOE. So I appreciate that, Coach.
Thank you.
Jade Lau.
Hi, Mike. I just had a quick question. Didn't we just do the CIP for the locker room at Kalaheo like a year or 2 ago?
I gotta go back. I don't think since I've been in that we got CIP for the locker room.
No, you were at this side of the table when we approved that one, or when we pushed that forward.
So let me follow up with principal on that one, because a lot of times it's also executing contracting. I think it was for the girls' locker room, and that was a big push from Representative Bronco and Representative Martin.
And as in regards to the parking, this is going to sound silly, but if we just don't trim those kiawe trees back so far, they won't be able to park on the road. They have to park in the dirt. That's why there's parking there now.
I appreciate that. Thanks. Noted.
All right. Any other questions for Mike Lee? All right. Mahalo, Mike.
Yeah, in lieu of it being Thanksgiving and gobble time, we won't see each other till December. I just want to reiterate how grateful I am to represent this district. I said it at the lawmakers listen. This is a good community. I know my neighbors' names. I trust auntie and uncle across the street with my children. this is a special place to live, and I'm grateful that you are my neighbors. So very grateful, Thanksgiving time, big moment to reflect. So I've appreciated the work that we've been able to do together and the time I spent with your board. So yeah, email me, give me a call anytime. Thank you.
Okay, mahalo. Senator Jarrett Keohokalole. Tallulah Samafua, representing Representative Jill Takuda. All right, we'll move on. Next item of business are reports from members who attended other meetings. Lavani Lip.
Aloha. I won't repeat except to say mahalo to Esther for having the Stormwater Town Hall on October 22nd. I do encourage folks to at least take a look at the website, kaelepuluwatershed.org. I want to thank my committee members, namely Katie and Cindy, who is a community member who helped to work on the proposals that were submitted on behalf of the Kailua Neighborhood Board Water Quality Committee. We had a good turnout of people who supported our proposals, and this is just the beginning stages. So there'll be another meeting, hopefully sooner than what the consultants told us, which is March of 2026, to discuss the results from the community coming together to vote. And basically the point that I made at that Stormwater Town Hall is that this is an issue that is ongoing and an annual. Stormwater is not just something that happens when we have rain events. Pollution is collecting all the time, and it gets deposited into the waterways during rain events, but we can preempt it by having regular maintenance and by taking certain precautions, which means investing in the infrastructure, including screens on the storm drains, filter baskets, and catchment at the end of the hardened channels, like the one that we all see next to Hele gas, the old Hele gas station, and also Kailua Skateboard Park. And above all, addressing the origin where all of the sediment really empties into, which is Kaopa Silt Basin. So we're really rooting for that one. We hope that the consultants and the city will work with us. We do have a significant opportunity to reduce pollution. It'll take some political maneuvering and political will, but the will of the people, I believe, is here. So it's a really good show of faith that even though if you're not on the water quality committee, that you still turn out in the interest of protecting Kailua Bay, and your vote will count for that. So it takes just like 2 minutes to go to the website, and then you tick the 3 or 8 projects that you're interested in. And the number of people that vote definitely shows that we are committed as a community. So the meeting, there were a lot of lessons learned from this meeting, but nonetheless, we're very happy that the authorities did come. They took time at the end of their day to be with us, to hear our voices, and we really hope that there'll be a tangible solution that will come out of this.
Mahalo. Any others who have reports to make from other meetings? Okay, we will move on to our feature presentation tonight. Everyone received cards in the mail in the last week. And here to explain it all is Director Roger Babcock on sewer fee and billing changes.
Okay, good evening, Chair Hicks, board members, Roger Babcock, Director of Department of Environmental Services. I'm joined tonight by our Public Information Officer, Jen Boniza. So happy, I do have some slides. Yes, there they are. So we are just sort of kicking off our campaign. We call it Use Less, Pay Less. This is about the sewer fees that are about to increase. I did speak here last year when we were going through the process of introducing the legislation and ultimately getting passed in June. So just a brief review of how the sewer bill works. Sewer bill consists of a base charge and a volumetric charge. The base charge is a fixed fee that's the same for all single-family residents that each month, and the volumetric charge depends on how much water you use. And you do get a 20% reduction or credit in volumetric charge for irrigation. So the volumetric charge is based on water use, based on meter data from the Board of Water Supply. So a couple of things that we've done is to address affordability is to try to change the proportions of the bill that are fixed versus volumetric, because the fixed part of the bill you have no control over. It's currently $77.55, and it's been that amount since 2016. So before you use even 1 gallon of water, you owe the city $77.55. Each 1,000 gallons that you're charged for is currently $4.63. So what we've done is when we're going through the process with City Council was to modify and reduce the fixed charge and increase the volumetric charge, while overall seeing an increase in the sewer fee. So on January 1st is when the first sewer fee increase occurs. And then there will be fee increases on each July 1st after that over the next 6 years. So, but on January 1st, the fixed charge is decreasing by $14. It's going down to $63.55. And the volumetric charge is going up to $7.95 per 1,000 gallons. And I'm sorry, that is way too far away for me to see the numbers, but I think I know them. The current, the median water user in Honolulu, single family user, uses 6,000 gallons per month. Median means half use that, less than that amount, and half use more than that amount. So that gives a current bill of $100.70 for the base charge plus the volumetric charge. So on January 1st, as I said, the base charge is going down, volumetric charge is going up. For that same customer that uses 6,000 gallons, the bill is going to be $103.20 or 30, $103.30. And so it is $3 and roughly $2.60 more than it is today. And so you can kind of see how that works. But in both cases, there was that 20% reduction. So you're only paying for 5,000 gallons, not 6,000 gallons. You're paying for 6,000 gallons of water to Board of Water Supply. You're paying for 5,000 gallons of sewage to environmental services. I believe that also shows for July 1st of 2026, when the base charge goes down to $48 and change, 53 cents or 27 cents. And the volumetric charge goes up to around 5,915. Yeah, that's the total. So it's about $11 per 1,000 gallons. So the total then, as was stated before, is 107 and change. So that median customer is going to see an overall about a 7% increase in that with the first two increases. And then it will increase further, in the coming years. We also show there what happens if you conserve water. So if you use less water, you can pay less. So it's really a water conservation theme. So we've been teaming up with Board of Water Supply. We have links, co-links with them about water saving tips, water saving devices, as well as the rebate program that is available, which we are joining with Board of Water Supply, and we intend to increase those rebates for things like low flow devices, and including toilets and other things. I want to point out that we do have a new thing on our website, which is a sewer bill calculator, which is kind of there on the lower left is what it looks like. If you go to our website, honolulu.gov/ENV, you could do that now if you want to on your phone. There's a QR code that came out on the flyer, and that takes you directly there. And what it shows is it asks you to choose how much water you currently use, and then what year you want to see what your bill is going to be. So if you put 6,000 gallons and you put January 1st, 2026 on the toggles, it would then show you the numbers that we just showed in the previous slide. And it would show you those water conservation lower values if you were to save 2,000 gallons. But it then also lets you change that date to July 2026 or 27, all the way through 31. We have approved rate increases up through July 1st of 2031, and you can see what your bill will look like in any future year. And because of the conservation, it lets you know how you can use less. If you use less, you will pay less. And so it shows you that. So we think that tool will be very helpful for people to be able to plan for their future and decide, see how much more they would pay if they don't conserve, and how much, if they conserve, how much they would save. So there's also a bunch of links, as I mentioned, a bunch of links to how to save water, how to conserve water, and how little things can make a very big difference, including the rebate program. I think there might be one more slide, which is about our customer assistance program, which we are starting. That is not up and running yet, but what we have said we would do is we would, for qualifying residents, they would get a $20 per month credit on the base charge. And to qualify, you need to be equal to or less than 80% of area median income for the household. And so we're in the process of getting a contractor, we have an RFP, issuing it to get a service provider who will run that program for us, develop application forms, qualify people, and then tell us, and we'll program it into the bills. I wanted to mention that the issue of the lower base charge is really significant. There are some people who don't use very much water, whose water bill or sewer bill will go down in January 1st, and again more in next July if you use a very small amount of water. Whereas if you use a lot of water, your bill is going to go up significantly more than what I showed you there. Because the overall, if you take everybody's water use together, the increase in January 1st is 6%, and the one on July 1st is another 7.5%. But in the example I showed you, that's about 14%. The example I showed you was only a 7% increase. So median water users, their bill doesn't go up nearly as much. High water users, their bill is going to be a lot larger. And you can check that and see it by looking at that bill estimator. And you can put any number you want in there, and it'll show you how big people's increase is going to be. So I'd be happy to answer any questions about that. And there was also some things that were about landfill and other things and cesspools. And if you want to ask me about that, I would also answer those questions. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much, Roger, for bearing with us tonight, and excellent presentation. Questions? David Laya.
Well, since you asked for questions regarding the landfills, I'll go right ahead and ask the same question of you. Is there a decision to use the windward side as a site for the next landfill? And what's the status of Act 73 regarding the change in the distance, the buffer zone?
The buffer distance, yeah. Yeah, so the update for the landfill is, I can tell you two things. One is the city is not pursuing modifications to Act 73 to reduce the buffer. We had indications at the last legislative session that would not be possible. But a further update identifying where the next landfill will be coming very soon. There'll be a press conference likely before the end of the year. But I can't say it until we do the press conference.
So windward side is still an option? Is that what I'm hearing? The 5 sites that were pointed out earlier?
No, there's no viable sites on the windward side.
Thank you.
All right, breaking news.
And with respect to sewer fees, we do have a nice flyer over here at the table. You guys got them, I think, but for the public, there's flyers available. And do visit our website. Encourage people to visit our website. We think we really like that tool. We're proud of it. So please try it.
I think there's some questions, and when we're all done, I might have one or two. Lavani Lipton.
Thank you for the presentation. I'm going to go back to the cesspool question that I had, which is that big cesspool truck that comes, you know where I'm talking about, where the old surfboard shop is. Now it's Prime. I don't know. They do classes there. On the corner, there's like a Board of Water Supply pump station or something, but there's always a cesspool truck that goes there. So I'm wondering, like, where is it collecting the sewage from?
Yeah, Lavani, I will have to check on that. I don't know what that is. If it's a cesspool truck, there shouldn't be a cesspool truck at the Board of Water Supply pump station. We do have a sewage pump station on Kailua Road, which is and you'll see a guard sitting out there. So that's not what you're
That's
talking
different,
about.
yeah.
right? That is a place which is a disposal site for septage for liquid waste haulers. It's one of our approved sites that we have on the island. And we don't have very many. And that one was reopened recently. It had been used in the past, in years past, and it was closed for a number of years. But it is what we call a monitored site. So we have a guard there, and it's only open when the guard is there. The guard has to take samples, and they're measuring the quantity because they have to pay us for discharge, liquid waste haulers. So that would be septage, septic tanks, outhouse kind of operators. They all have to have a place to discharge. So we only have certain places where you can do that. One is the Sand Island Wastewater Treatment Plant. That's pretty far from here. One is the Honouliuli Wastewater Treatment Plant in Neva Beach. It's also very far from here. One is out in Maili, way out on the west side. One is at Whitmore Village up in near Wahiawa. And then one is at Kahuku, at the Kahuku Wastewater Treatment Plant, serving, kind of far North Shore kind of folks. And then one is at the Kaneohe Pretreatment Facility by the golf course, where the old treatment plant used to be. So that is one, but that one has very limited hours because of there's an easement with the golf course. We have to cross the golf course property, to get there and stuff. And so we have very strict limits on the number of trucks that can go there. And so we have so we do have that Kailua Road site. So anyway, sorry to explain all that different stuff, but I'll have to check because I don't really know what that is, if it's really a septage hauling truck. It could be something.
Sure, it's just interesting because it's like right near the wetland, near Waiauia, and it's right near the waterway. So I don't know what they're doing there. I was just curious. Oh, you know. So is it a discharge site? I don't know. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay.
That's exactly what you're talking about. On Kailua Road, right by the Welcome to Kailua wall, where there's also usually a food outreach truck every now and again parked there, if that's included. So we're all talking about the same place. It is a sewer site, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, it's right near the waterway.
So there should be a variety of different trucks that go there every day, not just one truck, and no truck should be staying there very long. They usually would do their disposal over a period of 15 to 30 minutes, and then they would be gone. And then other trucks would come throughout the day. Only between certain hours. It's not open 24 hours. It's only certain times. Yeah.
All right, other questions? Malia Spenda.
Landfill, because I have been very vocal about that one. And I just want to thank Donna and Gary and Mike and Esther and everybody who really worked for that. That's great news for our windward side. Okay, this fee. So if on my street, I have two concerns. On my street alone, I have 15 houses. 10 of them have multiple unit of rentals, right? So I'm alone in the back, but I have a rental in the front. I have people who have multiple units they're just trying to survive on their property while they're renting out. So this is a bit regressive because there's no way, unlike electrical, there is now a way to sort of gauge what they're using and let them pay that part of the bill. But now this is going to be we all have more people than just us, and it's going to be passed off to the renter. So you're going to increase rent through this one. That's the first one that I'm like, that's a regressive tax I thought we were trying to lower rent, but we're not. And then two, I mean, we all know, there are families that have multiple generations and multiple children. They're not going to be able to use less. They're going to have incredible impact on this bill. So on this increase. So I'm curious how the conversation went to think of those two scenarios when we're trying to deal with rents, keeping people livable in Hawaii, and then the families that are going to be impacted by this. Thank you.
Yeah, so thanks for that question. So the way the sewer bill structure was set up with the intention of looking at affordability. Based on revenue requirements for all the operations and construction needed for the sewer system and improvements to treatment plants and all the other things, we have a very large capital program and increasing operation and maintenance fees. So the sewer rates needed to increase substantially over the next 10 years. What we ended up with was a 7-year rate package that meets all the needs that we have, with overall increases of 6% and 7.5% and 8.5%, and then 9% for each of several years after that. As part of the process, we did have a stakeholder advisory group, and we had community meetings, and we had public hearings at council talking about these. And the recommendation was to address affordability was to do this shift away from base charge and to more on volumetric. That actually makes it more similar to the way water is charged. So water is like 90% volumetric and less than 10%. You basically just pay a billing charge per month, about $13 or something like that for water, and all the rest is volumetric. So there is a wide range of ways to do it. And the way it ended up was what was requested was to value the value of water greater. So folks theoretically have the choice to use less water. They don't have a choice of whether to pay the base charge. So that is the logic behind the way the fees are structured. So, yeah.
Gary Weller. Hi, I asked the young lady over here the same question, so I might as well ask you. They meter my water, they meter my electricity. I go to the gas pump, it's metered. I researched on the mainland, an awful lot of counties across the whole country meter their sewage leaving the home. Why don't we do that here in Hawaii?
Yeah, thanks. I'm unfamiliar with any city in the United States that meters wastewater. Everybody meters water and uses that to determine the sewer bill. Metering wastewater is, it's possible. We have a lot of wastewater meters at our treatment plants, but they're very subject, they require a lot of maintenance because it's sewage. We know what's in sewage. And clean water is very simple to meter because it's clean and you can put a little propeller in there and it runs fine for years. But sewage isn't like that. And so you have to have a different kind of meter. And most of the time, it's what we call a magnetic meter. And it's very expensive. It requires voltage and it basically measures the velocity of water going through the pipe. And has to be calibrated. They're very expensive. So it would be, it's not necessary. So we based it on the water use. We give you a 20% credit, so we say only 80% of it is becoming sewage. That's based on analysis. I can tell you overall, the water supply delivers about 140 million gallons a day total, and we collect about 100 million gallons a day of sewage overall. So not all the water becomes sewage, right? And we have some numbers. But there are folks who use a lot more water for irrigation than 20%. And for those folks, we have a sub-metering program. And so this has always existed. The most common folks who take advantage of it are townhouses and large condominiums and stuff with a lot of irrigated area where they may be using 50% of their water outside. And so what they do is they put in a meter. It has to get approved. You have to get a permit from DPP, and you put that meter on. And then every month, you take the reading on the meter and you email it to us. And then we use that number to determine how much sewage there was instead of assuming the 20%. So we don't assume the 20%. You get your water use, and then we get your sub-meter value. We subtract that, and the rest is sewage, right? So it might only be half. And so for large water users, that's very common. There are hundreds and hundreds of those sub-meters out there. There are also a couple hundred on single-family homes as well. So it is a program that's available. The information is all on our website about how you can do that program. But for most people, it's not worth the investment because it does cost some money, especially if you have to use a plumber. You can do it yourself. It's not too bad. If you have to use a plumber, plumbers are very expensive. And then it could take many years, depending on how much, if you're only using 30% outdoors, you're saving $4 or something per month or some very small amount of money. And if it costs you $1,000 for the installation, you're looking at 500 months or something before it paid for itself. So you would have to sort of do that calculation and to decide whether sub-metering makes sense.
So does the Board of Water Supply supply the sub-meter?
No, but we have an approved list, and it is in conjunction with the Board of Water Supply. So it is a different, usually they're digital, so it's a different kind of a meter. But anyway, there are several options for the sub-meters.
Other questions? Any audience questions? Online? I had a couple, and I'm impressed because you already have answered some of them. The gross sewage volume daily versus the gross water use volume daily to validate the 20% irrigation. Thank you for providing those numbers. That was good information. The overall increase in the sewer fees, $100.70 currently in 2025, $164.47 July 2031. So a 64% increase over 6 years, which is a higher increase than inflation. The Board of Water Supply is doing the same thing. They already had a plan to replace 1% of their piping per year based on a 100-year typical lifespan for their pipes. And they attributed the excess increases to Red Hill expenses, to which logically we would expect, well, if there's federal reimbursement along the way, then there might be a reduction in water increases. They weren't too eager to acknowledge that. But in the case of sewer, these rate increases that are higher than the rate of inflation, I think you kind of answered that a little bit in that your capital improvement projects and some of your court decree requirements mean that your capital expenses in the coming foreseeable 6 to 10 years is higher than what those expenses typically were in the recent past. Do I have that correct?
Yeah, we have a very large capital program because of some regulatory requirements, including the 2010 consent decree, which goes through 2035. So we have one very large remaining project with about $2 billion worth of expense just for that one project at Sand Island. But that is not the entire thing. There's a lot of other compliance projects that we have to do, as well as rehabilitation and reconstruction of lots of existing structures and facilities.
Yeah, and I assume you, in the last 10 years, you've had those also, but it's proportionally a higher percentage of the
It
budget
is. Yeah.
in the midterm going forward. I also understand that in the coming year, we will receive separate water bills and separate sewer bills. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So we're working on that now. That is anticipated, is targeted for this summer, but it's not, we're unsure when that will actually be completed. But it is a bill separation. So water bills and sewer bills would be billed separately instead of on the same bill.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to, in a simple way, understand the efficiency of that, because there's already an infrastructure within BWS to handle billing. And the sewer bill is based on water usage, which BWS knows for each customer. Your department would have to develop a parallel, possibly duplicative infrastructure to handle your billing. So in the aggregate, is the money spent within BWS on billing and the money that ENV will spend going forward on billing, is that total expense, which then gets borne by rate users? Does that go down somehow? Is it more efficient to separate because BWS is overcharging ENV to collect billing, or what's the logic in creating more administration to accomplish this?
Yeah, thanks. So there will be efficiencies on the ENV side. So as you know, the board is, we call it semi-autonomous agency of the city. So they have their own board. They don't answer to city council really. They have their own budgeting, their own board, and their own procurement. Everything is separate. The ENV is under the city. We are an enterprise fund, so the funds are kept separate from the general fund, but we're still operated as part of the city in conjunction with all the other city departments to a greater extent. just with us, we have refuse, right? And we also have billing for refuse. We do billing for that already. So we see efficiencies of taking that on ourselves because of the other billing that we do and other billing in other parts of the city as well. So we will have a more state-of-the-art billing system that is going to have more and better features to make it more efficient than what we have now. And we do pay quite a bit currently to Board of Water Supply for the billing services. But we do feel like we will be able to be more efficient and once we have the system set up ourselves. And it'll be customized for us and our customers.
Okay, Malo. Any other questions? All right, well, Roger, thank you very much for good, solid presentation and a willingness to take on all topics tonight. We always appreciate your visiting Kailua. Wow.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate the invitation. Happy to come back anytime. Thank you.
All right, next order of business is the approval of minutes. Are there any corrections to our October 2nd minutes? Online, hearing none, the minutes stand approved. Committee reports. We added the agenda item to community and government engagement on good government petition and the charter initiative for historic preservation to PZ&E. Any committee chairs wish to amplify on their reports? If not, reports stand as published. Committee membership motions. Would anyone like to join a committee or step down from a committee? Everybody's happy. Online? Okay, no committee membership changes. Chair's report, committee agendas for December. Would be due November 23rd, but in our business rules that we adopted in July, all committees would normally recess in December due to the proximity to the holidays. And then the board itself recesses in January because the first Thursday in January is January 1st. And the committees would all resume in January. So committees do have the option of meeting in December. Is there any committee that intends to meet in December? All right, hearing none, we continue to follow our approved plan then. And finally, just a reminder for our December 4th meeting, come early. We're all going to be here at 6 o'clock and we'll bring something to eat, something to drink, and something to share and get to know each other better. And we look forward to that. Okay, Donna Wong. Go ahead, Donna.
Sorry. We're supposed to be looking at Esther's charter amendment in December. So if we don't meet,
No, that was added to the November agenda.
it was added to November. Okay, I'm ahead of myself. All right, thank you.
Yeah, that's added to your November meeting on the third Tuesday.
Okay,
And in Gary's case, it's added to his meeting also on good government.
okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, that's it. This meeting is adjourned at 9:35.